This thing is way too tall. That's better. Alright, perfect spot for me to contemplate my life. Amazon, clean the master bedroom.
Okay, I'll tell Roomba J7 to vacuum the master bedroom.
Tell Roomba J7 to return back to the dock.
I'll tell Roomba J7 to end its cleaning job and return home.
Well, is the Roomba J7 the best Roomba vacuum out there? Short answer is no, but despite not having the best specifications, the best cleaning performance, or the best navigation, I think the Roomba J7 is one of the best Roomba vacuums for the average consumer. Well, it's no accident that iRobot is leading the competition in terms of build quality, also customer service, parts availability, and just the overall ease of use of the Roomba vacuums and mopping robots. While the competition is focusing on having the best specifications possible, highest pascals, longest battery life, and basically cramming everything but the kitchen sink into the models, iRobot is taking a different approach. So iRobot's biggest feature for this year is they're lighting the path to the front-facing camera and LED light. Get it? Lighting the path, LED light. Yeah, that's terrible. Okay, so having these two technologies, a camera and LED light, allows the vacuum to navigate effectively in complete darkness. This was something that the previous generation vacuum struggled with. Also, with that front-facing camera, you can recognize certain objects. They did a pretty good job with shoes, also power cables, and the biggest thing is pet waste. Yes, when they pooch, likes to leave a little surprise, well, don't fret, this vacuum can actively avoid it. Now, I have seen this technology on other models like the EcoVax T8 AI-VI, also the Roborock S6 Max V. It's nothing new, but I'm glad that iRobot is jumping on the bandwagon. Maybe down the road, iRobot can add magical unicorns to the list of objects that the J7 can actively avoid, but as a disclaimer, no magical unicorns were harmed in the making of this video. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the pricing. At $849 with the self-emptying bin, I know it's very expensive. Now, there's a couple things that the J7 has that no other vacuum has, so let's go and check those features out. Of course, knowing my luck, as I was filming, my camera decided to become out of focus, but what I'm doing is I created an area called mess. Yep, you can see in the background a crazy mess. So this kind of highlights the features that the Roomba J7 has. For starters, it has a dirt detection sensor, so if your pet, maybe your bird Polly, leaves a lot of bird seeds down, well, the J7 can detect that and focus on those messier areas. Well, if we speed up the video 16x, you can see that the Roomba J7 is beatboxing. Maybe they can add some music to this model. Thankfully, iRobot slowed down the side brush. I know like on the i7, it was spinning like a million miles per hour, so it's not scattering the debris as much. Now, along edges, the side brush does speed up, and in open areas slows down. So good job, iRobot, for listening to the consumers and not having basically a leaf blower or something going around your home. So there's a multicolored ring light. So blue indicates that it's going back to its docking station. White, if it's flashing, means it's uploading data to the server, if it's updating its map or something. So this is cool that the J7 has the ability to detect when the dustbin is full and go back, empty itself, and return exactly where it left off. No other vacuum that has a self-emptying bin has these capabilities. Okay, so once it's done with the main area, just kind of go around the perimeter. Not sure why I did the entire perimeter. Maybe my area select was kind of messed up. Okay, so here's the design of the J7. It's not far from the i7. One thing you may notice is that front-facing camera with the LED light really does help with night vision, so it can detect objects at night and do clean at night. That's something that the i7, i6 kind of struggle with. Also, I question why they just did a single button design. Kind of wish they had the home button and spot function like on all the other models. Now, one interesting thing is you notice the docking station has this QR code that's designed to help line up the robot to the docking station. There's no infrared sensor or argon sensor, which you may notice that little hump right there. Lastly, everything else is very similar. You have the same chassis design, same cleaning mechanics, dual extractor bar, extractor port. You have the optical flow sensor, and everything else is very similar. So if you don't care about the front-facing technology, well, just go with the i6 or i7. You don't necessarily need the J7. Now, as the self-emptying bin works well, but when design changes, you can store an extra bag, which is kind of handy. So if you want to swap out the old one with the new, it's just right there. Cool.
I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe they want.
Oh, sorry about that. Forgot to mute my wife. That's better. I love editing where I can just basically turn her off. Alright, so basically, this is the last thing we're going to look at is the Roomba J7 doing an obstacle challenge, kind of like different objects. I got some known objects like the shoes, also the little, what is that, pepper that represents poo, and the vacuum does a pretty good job kind of avoiding those. Now, other objects like sparkles, the vacuum scale, the little vacuum in the background, it doesn't recognize it, so it just kind of physically bumps into it, doesn't cause any damage. So just be aware of it. It doesn't avoid all the objects, but for the known objects, the J7 does a pretty good job. Okay, so I've been using the J7 extensively for about 2 weeks. This has been my main roll-up vacuum. I have a bunch of roll-up vacuums, but I try to focus on one and just to see how well they perform so far. So overall, the J7's been working as advertised. I haven't had any issues or errors. I really do like the voice assistants. That's why the J7 is considered my go-to roll-up vacuum. So it's really easy to start, select the room, and just get going. You don't really have to open up the application once you get everything set up. So overall, the build quality has been very good. I've only used this for a few weeks, so maybe time will tell how long the J7 will last. But I've had like the E5, I've had like the i7 for about a year or so, and they've all been working very well. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up this video. I'll give you my final thoughts. So I do recommend the J7. I know the price is kind of out there at $850, so there's some cheaper alternatives. For example, you can get the i3 Plus. I have seen it around $350. Has the same self-emptying bin capabilities, has the dirt detection sensor, dustbin fold sensor, but you don't get the front-facing camera or the smart mapping features that you'll find on this model. Now, you could also go with like the i6 Plus. It has a little bit shorter battery life, but with the rechargeable zoom, I don't think that's a game changer. So I think the i6 Plus is probably the best valued vacuum with the self-emptying bin and smart mapping capabilities. Of course, I'll rate this roll-up vacuum highly, so in my little rating scale, I'm going to give it a big old happy green face. Yep, in the iRobot application, every time it cleans, you can offer to rate it, and you can choose how well it did. Yes, it cleaned well, it was able to navigate, so I'm going to just check all the boxes. Okay, so yes, the self-emptying bin is quite noisy, but with any vacuum that's powerful, it's going to have that noise. I don't think there's any way around it except for like basically making it less powerful. Okay, so there is an option in the app where you can tell it to not empty every time it returns back to the docking station. So just keep an eye on it if you have that option selected so you manually empty it, or just do it via the app. Now, the robot itself is fairly quiet and there's not a lot of features. For example, you don't have the ability to change the vacuum levels, which is kind of a downside. But overall, I like the J7. So thanks so much for watching this video. You take care. Adios.